Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. You just saw me a few hours ago.
Sorry.
Well, maybe more than 12, I guess. But you saw me last night. And I promised you that I was going to jump in and do a quick little live here with the Lawn Fawn release. I'm just going to give everyone a couple of minutes to join in. If you may be taking your lunch break or watching us on replay, any of those things will hold. I'm going to just close this screen behind me too. Not my usual setup here, so I didn't think to check all that. And hey, you got a couple seconds of the back of me. Hope you closed your eyes. I'm sure that was a little bit scary. So we are here with the brand new summer release from Lawn Fawn. Lawn Fawn release days are always a big deal here at Papercrafter's workshop, and I am super excited to share. I'm a little bit late. I'm on the evening shift tonight, so I'm a little bit late coming in, but Darlene and Simon and Matt and Charlie have been feverishly working away, picking orders, putting them in baskets, getting them into the shipping department, getting them in boxes, and getting them ready to go out the door. We always pride ourselves on getting, especially Lawn Fawn release orders out as quickly as possible. If you are joining in, please do drop a comment below and let us know that you are joining us. If you are a Lawn Fawn fan, happy Lawn Fawn Day. Let us know in the comments what your favorite part of the release is. Matt's mooing here as he eats his lunch in the background. That is a hint if you haven't seen it. And, excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you are new to Lawn Fawn, well, you are in for a treat. And we'll talk about some different things that are unique to Lawn Fawn and have lots of fun with that. We will round out today with a little bit of a coloring demo. I am not going to do a full card. I'm just going to color the Highland cows. I've got my little cow stamp here. Oh, thank you, Matt. Matt's opening me a bottle of water. Oh, Darlene is a big Lawn Fawn fan. Yes, she gets great joy from prepping the release when it comes in, and as sometimes is the occupational hazard of working here, there was definitely a Darlene's happy bin where it was, here's the store, here's Darlene's, here's the store, here's Darlene's. And I'm not gonna lie, after I put everything up on the wall last night, but before I went home, I did sneak a few things into my little basket as well. So all good. We are here for some fun. I'm going to take a swig of water and let's get started. So let me switch over to my desktop camera. Here we go. And no, this is not Lawn Fawn. This is a big bag of fresh Ontario strawberries. I just wanted to tease you, and if you are coming to the Stouffville area to see us,
those are coming home with us.
They are coming home with us unless I eat them for dinner.
No.
Matt says I'm not allowed to eat them for dinner. I don't know. I'm the one that bought them, so we're just going to have to see. Anyways, if you are coming to the Stouffville area, Reeser's Farm Market up on Main Street, Reeser's Market and Bakery up on Main Street, as well as the Farm Market on at 9th Line in Elgin Mills. Strawberries are in, and you can also pick your own strawberries starting tomorrow, I believe. So if you're coming to Stouffville, come see us first, then go out and get some yummy strawberries. They have some delicious baked goods. I am always partial to their molasses cookies. I know Charlie likes the chocolate chip cookies. They have muffins. I believe they have lunch items and that kind of thing as well. So always good stuff at Reeser's. In fact, their baking facility is right next door to us. And so often we can smell all the goodness, but then have to go up to Main Street to pick them up. All right, let us jump right in here, and please do forgive my lighting. This is not my typical setup, but I'm here at the store, and we're just gonna have fun. So I don't need to worry about this anymore. The release is no longer a secret. It is out there in the world, and everybody has been available to see it. I am going to do a little bit of a different order than what you might expect, and I've tried to group kind of themes and items together as opposed to starting with stamps and dies and moving through the collection. So I'm actually, segueing off my strawberries. I am going to start with the strawberry treat box. Oh, I don't need my water bottle. It makes this adorable little three-dimensional treat box complete with leaves for the closure, and it does look fairly easy to put together. I am certain that Lawn Fawn will be putting together an introductory and how to assemble video. They always do fantastic videos. I have not had a chance to watch it yet, if it's even available yet, but I think this would make a really darling little treat if you had like a bridal shower, or maybe you just like making little treat boxes. I think this would be super sweet. So that is the strawberry treat box. We are moving into fruits, and I think I might not have grabbed a certain stamp set. There is a fruit stamp and die set and coloring stencil, but I think we only have a couple of stamps left. That one actually sold really, really quickly. But to go along with it, or just in this whole fruit theme, we have the fruit salad background stencil. This is a layered stencil. It looks to me like it is 5 stencils. And so they show you all the stencils on the back to create this really fun fruit salad kind of look. And yes, fruit salad is very, very reminiscent of summertime. But you know what? This could also be for, making lunchbox treats and things like that. I know school is almost done, but back in the fall, it would be fun to just have a little fruit salad treat card in your lunchbox. That would be really fun. So that is the fruit salad background. Now we're going to slide a little bit slowly into a single fruit. We talked about strawberries, but a big feature of this release is lemons. And maybe I'm going to show you this sample card first. Lawn Fawn is always really good about sending us samples with our order so we can show you how these things look when they are all together. And you can see some fun things here. You can see some lemons on branches. You can see the mice having their own little lemonade stand. And you also get a sneak peek at some of the new paper that has come in this release. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to come back and refer to it every so often. Actually, the first couple things I'm going to show you go with that, but weren't shown on that card. We have our Build a Drink series, and this is one of the series that I personally like to collect for my own collection. I love the drinks. I don't know why. It's just something that makes me very happy. So there is the Build a Pitcher, and there is a cute little sample on the back. This one is really fun because you can also turn it into a shaker, and something I'm going to show you in a little bit would be really fun to go inside of it. You can make it lemonade, you could make it sangria, you could do lots of fun things. And then there are the little ice cubes as well. I like to cut those ice cubes out of vellum so that it gives you kind of that translucent look. And if you happen to have some blue vellum, or fun fact, you can color vellum with your Copic alcohol ink markers. And so that way, even if you only have white vellum, color it with a B000, very, very pale blue Copic marker, and you could make blue ice cubes if you so desired. So that's a Build a Drink pitcher. And you need something to pour it into. So here is the fresh lemonade paper piecing set, which you've got the lemonade going into the cup. Now, again, you can customize this to anything you want. I know in my family, I would probably do this out of dark brown and make it Coke or Coke Zero or Pepsi. We've got both Coke and Pepsi lovers in our family, which makes for some fun times. But you could make something really cute out of that for whichever beverage you choose. And now we're going to move into some more lemons. There are 2 different border dies. So we've got the lemon vine border, and you've got the big vine here, and all of these little circles is where the lemons are supposed to live, or you could add the blossoms. And this comes back to what they've done here. So they've taken the vine, they have cut them into little segments and have it dangling from the sky. I'm assuming that there is a branch just out of view here to be able to have our little mouse lemonade stand underneath. And then there is also the lemon border, and this is just lemon slice. Different orientations that way, different configurations, and you've got extra detail pieces to layer on top. This one doesn't have a picture, but I think it's pretty easy to imagine. And hey, guess what? If you like lemons and limes, you could do every so often one of these in green for the limes. You could do the little slices as orange for oranges. It does not have to be monochromatic. You could definitely change up your color and have more of that fruit salad kind of look with that border. That one would be really fun to play with. I'm looking at it. The ideas are flowing that much. That one may end up in Sheri's happy basket. We'll have to wait and see. Then we have our mice. If you are new to Lawn Fawn, if you have not followed them, the mice are their most popular, most mischievous, most energetic critter. There's almost always a mouse stamp in every release, and this one is no different. So really building on that lemonade theme. We've got a little mouse here drinking the lemonade. We've got one with a baseball, actually two with the baseball cap, which, you know what, I think there's lots of different places where you can use the mice with a baseball cap. And then this little guy carrying the lemons. You've got pitchers, you've got cups, you've got a little lemon chiffon cupcake there, and then some great sayings. So we've got some tiny sayings: squeeze the day, one glass please, you're so sweet, squeeze me, and you're the zest. Then we've got, wishing you the zest, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So some fun little sentiments to go along with it. Now we do have the stamp set available on its own. We also have the stamp and die bundle. And then Lawn Fawn has also become very well known for their coloring stencils. And when I posted about this earlier this week, I was actually surprised at how many people have come to Lawn Fawn because of the coloring stencils. Now, what is a coloring stencil? It is exactly what it sounds like. It's got little segments here and different. It gives you the different layers so that you can color in the little mice or the lemonade stand or the basket of lemons without needing markers. You can just use your inks. You can use your blending brushes. I do recommend the smaller, more pencil style brushes, because there's a lot of little areas in these coloring stencils. But so many people love Lawn Fawn but don't like to color with markers. So the Lawn Fawn coloring stencils goes a long way to help give you some life to your critters. And it's interesting that Darlene and I were having a conversation last night. And she said when she wants something fast and easy, she grabs the stencils. Where I said, for me, when I want something fast and easy, I grab my markers. So for everyone, it's a little bit different, but it's fabulous to be able to have the tools at your disposal to be able to do your art your way and create some beautiful items. So there is the lemonade. It's called the Make Lemonade set. Stamp, die, and coloring stencil. Now there is an add-on for this guy as well, and I believe we only have the bundles left. Simon grabbed the stencil out of my basket before I brought it upstairs, but if you really want it, we can special order it in for you. This just has some additional sentiments, and then that little lemon cake off to the side there. Stamp and die bundle. So that coordinates with that. While we're talking mice, I am going to share with you some older stamps. Now, and this is because of those coloring stencils. So I want to say it's maybe been a year and a half, maybe even 2 years that Lawn Fawn has been bringing out these coloring stencils. And with every release, they have gone back and pulled at least 3 stamp sets from the vault to create a coloring stencil to coordinate. So maybe you have the stamp but don't use it very much because you don't like to color, or maybe you're new to Lawn Fawn and want to catch up on some of those from the vault items. Let me show you. I'm going to start with two of them that now have coloring stencils. So we have the Dandy Day, which I believe, if I recall, this was the original mouse stamp. It does not have a date on it, but I remember when Dandy Day came out, and it was the first set of mice that they ever released, and it was so sweet. And it has just created a legacy in the Lawn Fawn world. So Dandy Day has the little mice on the dandelion. They're blowing the wishes. They've got the dandelions over here. May all your dreams come true. I think you're dandy, and I'm not lying. Lawn Fawn loves their puns, if you haven't noticed. So there is the coloring stencil. Again, it does not look great until you actually start to use it, but that will help you color the Dandy Day. And then we also have Bubbles of Joy. Now, this was a stamp set that we personally brought in for Scrapfest earlier this year, and I had created some samples here using snap and slides and the slide on over dies to make more of an interactive card. But if you just wanted to do your a static card, Bubbles of Joy now has a coloring stencil to coordinate with it. So those are two of the From the Vault items. I held off on the third one for a reason, because it's actually going to take us into our next theme for this release, and that is bees and honey. So this is an older set. It is called Hive 5, Hive FIVE, so a pun on high five, and it's got these adorable little bees. It's got a honey pot, it's got a little beehive, a little flower, some fun sentiments. Once again, stamp and die bundle, but now it has the Hive 5 coloring stencil to coordinate, so you can color all these bees without needing a single marker or pencil crayon. All you need is your blending brushes and your inks. The inks that you've got, Distress inks, Lawn Fawn inks, whatever you like to use, those are now in, now the coloring stencil is now available. But they also brought in some other bee themed items to go with this release. And let's just start with some sentiments. Henry's is the name of the font. So it's one of Lawn Fawn's most popular fonts. And so they have created a whole bunch of sentiments that go on that bee theme in that Henry's font. So buzzing by to say, be better soon, be mine, be beautiful. You are, I think they should have a you are. And if not, one of the others, you're the bee's knees. So you can build all kinds of sentences, and you can break them up on multiple lines or all on one line. And Lawn Fawn does a great job at making sure that these stamps are constructed so that you can butt them up right against each other and make a good sentence without having too many awkward gaps and that kind of thing. So this is a really fun sentiment set if you like the whole bee theme. To go with it, there is the Build-A-Bee die set. So it's your Build-A-Bee, like the Build-A-Bunny and like the Build-A-Fox, but this one also has the larger beehive to go with it, and it's got the sweet little bee there that you can build as a paper piecing set. And we do have a little sample of it here. This little mason jar I will show you in just a few minutes, but here he is holding that honey wand, and just so adorable. The wings, again, great if you use them cut them out of vellum. They are a little bit hard to see if you've got it on a busier background. But if you go around the edges with a light blue ink or a light gray ink, you can make them have a little bit more pop. And then here's where they've used that sentiment set, buzzing by to say, you're the bee's knees. So they've lined everything up, and you would never know that that is all separate stamps. Lastly, there is a little border on here, but I will come back to that. So let me just keep that close by. There is another sample of what the Build-A-Bee could look like with the little blossoms and the bees flying around and that sweet little beehive. And if you want a really fun background to go with all of that, this one I'm pretty sure is going to come home in my stash, and you're looking and you're like, I don't even know what that is. It's called the Bee Happy background. So look at that. It's got the buzz trails. It's got the little bumblebees. It's got hearts. So it's very dainty, but it can give you a really fun background to make it look like the bees really are buzzing all over the place and pollinating those flowers and making our world a better place. I look at this and I think of that. I think it's a classical piece that's called Flight of the Bumblebees, and I can just hear that. I don't want to get copyright infringement, but also you probably can't interpret my singing, but I think this is a really, really darling little stencil set. There are 4 stencils in this set to create all of those layers. And you know what? Some of these you might even be able to use just on its own to just create some fun backgrounds. So that is the Bee Happy background. Now, I was talking about the Build a Fox and Build a Bunny. These are critters. They're die sets. They are dress-up critters, so they're very much like paper dolls. They have all kinds of costumes and all kinds of ways to dress up and celebrate different occasions. So if you're not a stamper, you are more of a paper piecing and die cutting crafter, then these little critters are for you. So those are some different ways you can use the bunny. He can be standing, he can be sitting, he can kind of be squatting on his haunches, and he's got some different costumes. The fox guy looks like this. And again, if you go to the Lawn Fawn website, there are actually downloads that you can access that tell you and give you hints and tricks on how to assemble them and some different ways that you can use them. I should go and find them and post them for you guys so that you have access to it. Anyways, in our buzzing bee theme, we do have a Build a Critter bug costume. So let me flip this over. You can make your fox a bumblebee. You can make your bunny a butterfly, or you can make either one of them a ladybug. And the costumes work for both the fox and the bunny, so don't worry if you have one versus the other. You've got lots of different costumes here, and just by choosing your colors, you are going to create different looks for your bugs. So just another set in that series to play paper dolls with your little critters. What you might want to do if you've got small ones in your family and you want to create more of that paper doll look, you could create the costumes and just use repositionable tape runner in order to have it stick. They can play with it, they can change their clothes, and you could have a lot of fun with it if you didn't want to use it for your card making. So that is the Build a Critter. Now, when we go back to here, and we're actually going to come almost full circle because back to the whole Build a Drink idea, there is the Build a Drink mason jar. And they have done other add-ons for the Build a Drink mason jar. I believe there was a firefly insert, though it might have been for a different mason jar. I'm not 100% sure. But you could put, berries. There's little blueberries in here. There's all kinds of little accessories that go with it, and you can make it into that mason jar drink. But wouldn't it be adorable if your mason jar was for jam? Or honey in this case. So this one here is for the honey. It's got the little fabric hat, I call it, for the jar, and it makes it really sweet. You can also make this into a shaker like I suggested with the pitcher. And here is the Build a Drink mason jar jam and honey add-on. Those titles can get a little bit long, but you've got your little strings. Here's where that honey wand is. You've got a cute little label, and you can have a lot of fun creating these. These would be really fun if you are someone who does actually make jam or jar your own honey. You can make your own little gift tags to go with it, because those make the best gifts. And I think if you personalized it with a little mason jar tag on it, it would just make it even sweeter. There is a stamp set to give you some sentiments. So there's the jam, the honey, you're sweet, sending love. Hope your day is jam-packed with love, fun. My honey, life is sweeter with you. It's got a happy birthday in there. And you've got lots and lots of mix and match options for your sentiments with that set. Okay, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water and we will move into our next theme, which is those hairy cows. Matt is no longer here to moo, but I can hear him already from downstairs wanting to moo with these adorable Highland cows. And that is what the stamp set is called. It is called Highland cows. We call them the hairy cows. And this is what I am going to play with once we're done walking through the release. I'm going to show you, they've colored these guys and they've got lots of great dimension, but they don't look very hairy to me. So I'm going to give you some extra tips on how to color them, how to use your Copic markers in order to give them a little bit more of a hairy look. We are going to have some flickin' fun. Yes, that pun is intentional. Anyways, I heard it's your birthday. Happy birthday to Moo. And this is also giving you a sneak peek at some of the backdrops that come with this Lawn Fawn release. So let me show you the cows. There is the stamp. There is the die. There is the coloring stencil. And you've got cows doing all kinds of different things. He looks like he's doing cow yoga. Not quite sure what he's doing. But you've got the facing right, facing left. You've got all kinds of cute little accessories. Hi there. I miss you, Moo. Happy birthday to Moo. Let your hair down. I miss Moo. I heard, and they've spelled it, I've heard like a herd of cows, or I've heard the regular way, in case that is something that you want to have. Cow grats. It's your birthday party. Tell the cows come home. You can have tons of fun with these Highland cows. There is an add-on for this as well. It's a little less directly related, but if you wanted to use this for a moving or a welcome to your new home, or a moving an announcement, this little add-on could go really well with it. It's called the Highland Cows add-on. It's got the little mailbox. We've moved. I'm moving. You moved. And really making a pun of the moo sound. So stamp, die, quick little coloring stencil for that mailbox. And of course that mailbox can be used on its own without any of those sentiments for so many different reasons. Now I talked about the backdrops. We've got both a landscape and a portrait. Oh, my fingers are slipping here. A portrait backdrop, and this gives you the little impressions for the grass to give more of a pasture look. And they've got it here. I just want to gently see. Yes. So these are actually cut through. These ones, not so much, though that grass will pop up. So you could always go in with your fingernail or with a flat tool and give your grass some dimension. You can have it pop up. These little hillocks, you could actually tuck your cows or your other critters inside, especially if you got the moles from a previous release. You could have the moles peeking up. They give you lots of flexibility to help you with your scene building. You can see it over here where they have tucked the flower in behind the grass. They've tucked the grass or the flower into the hill. So it really creates a full and cohesive look. There is both a portrait and a landscape version of this. So this was the landscape, obviously, and this is the portrait. When you are die cutting with these, sometimes they can be tricky. So the best advice that I can give to you is when you put it through your die cutting machine, don't go straight on the edge. Try to turn it as much as possible on your plate so that the rollers grab the corner first and then pull it through. You're going to go slowly through your die cutting machine, go forwards, go backwards, and you should have no problem getting that to cut nicely. Again, having it on that diagonal is a huge help. However, if you do still have problems, another suggestion is don't cut it with the paper underneath and the die pressing down into it. Flip your sandwich around so that the die is cutting up into the paper. That flat base, this big thick flat base that goes underneath your plates, that's going to give you a little bit more pressure and a little bit more rigidity to help you cut better if you are cutting upwards versus downwards. You shouldn't need to do that, but just in case, that is just a tip for you on that, on these dies in particular. Uh-oh, Matt's back. Is he going to moo again?
Moo.
Moo.
Did you play with the cows?
We haven't, we're still going through the release, and then I'm going to play with the cows. There's lots of good stuff in this release.
I thought this was a quick live.
It is quick. I'm going as fast as I can. It's been half an hour. We're good. All right, so next up in my little bag, here is where we're getting a little bit out of themes, but some really fun stuff. So I think I talked earlier, or maybe it was on social media, that I talked about the tiny gift box. This makes a teeny tiny little gift box. When it is assembled, it is 1.5 by 1.5. So it is not very big, but it is the perfect size for a couple of jelly beans, or a couple of Hershey's Kisses, or just some little treats that go inside. Hey, maybe even a little baggie of shaker bits. And it is just on its own, it is truly darling. It is nice because the box itself is one piece, so you don't need to kind of piece things together. The only thing you have to do is make it dimensional, because obviously when you cut it flat, it's not a box. But Lawn Fawn has a whole series of add-ons that you can dress your box up with. We brought in the ladybugs and bumblebees to go with the previous things that I shared with you, but the new one for this release is the whale. And look how cute he is. You could call him it. Well, they're calling it whale and dolphin because he's got a little fin up here. But you could call him a shark too. You could just call him a fish. It doesn't matter. You could have a lot of fun just dressing this guy up. I have also seen some samples where people didn't even use the box. They just used the pieces to create a dimensional whale on their card. So there's lots and lots of possibilities with this little add-on that will create a lot of fun. Then there is the Quokka. Just going to go quickly through this small one. It was, I believe, an incentive set with Lawn Fawn last year, so some of you may already have this, but he's just a cute little critter. We've got some sentiments. So from the past, there was the scripty smile and the scripty hello. Well, now they have come out with the shadows for those. So if you want to make a 2-layer sentiment, they've been coming out with one or two of these each release as well. This would, if you like big sentiments, this would be a good collection for you to start collecting. A good thing to have in your stash. We have that folksy petal border, which, as I was showing you on the honey card, it just can go anywhere you want. I've seen it also cut in the rainbow of colors, so you can make a fun background and have lots of fun with that. And last but certainly not least is the Daisy Bloom outline stencil. So this is fun because it's not coloring in the flowers, it's leaving the flower outline showing. So it is a fun little dainty one. Just be very careful when you are inking with this, because these little edges will be quite delicate. So you just want to be careful as you are creating. All right. Last but not least, actually there's a couple more things. Sorry, I shouldn't jump ahead. Washi tape, always fun for creating backgrounds or sealing your envelopes. So there is the Happy Mice, there is the Happy Stars, and there is Bug Deal. New to Lawn Fawn are shaker bits, and we had a whole bunch of them, and a lot of them sold out already. So I'll show you what we have left. We have the Tiny Treasures mixed fruit clay pieces. Again, this would go great with the pitcher, the drink pitcher, or the cup. If you want to, have little fruit pieces floating in your cup. We have hearts. We have rainbows. And then we have 2 sequin sets as well. There is the sunshine sequins, which goes great with all of that honey. And then we have, and actually I've only grabbed one here. There is an iridescent set and there is a clear set, which I just learned. So the iridescent has more of that purpley look when you shift it in the light, the clear obviously being clear. And we do have both of those still in stock. And now, last but not least, is the paper. So we do have the 6x6 paper pad. It is called Giddy for Gingham. Lawn Fawn loves their gingham, and it's just so bright and cheerful and colorful. There is the petite paper pack, which is your 6x6, and it is scaled down so that you've got a good scale on your patterns without it being overwhelming. And then there is 12x12 as well. We have it in single sheets as well as in a collection pack. So let me just quickly flip through their names. We've got ambrosia salad, and what it is it's straight on, up and down, horizontal on one side and diagonal on the other side. There is, I've got these all upside down. There is berries, which is the purple. There is cooler, which is the blue. My favorite green is sandwiches. We've got picnic basket, which is that beautiful bright yellow. And we finish off with, oh, so that was picnic basket. This is picnic blanket, not to be confusing. And that, my friends, is the Lawn Fawn release. Who had fun? If you're still watching, you're joining us here live, please do jot in the comments below, or to the side, depending on whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, and let us know what is the one thing that you want to add to your collection from this Lawn Fawn release. I collect the mice, so those are already in my stash. I also want to grab those Build-A-Drink items to go with my collection, but I also don't know if I'm going to be able to resist these cows. So bear with me a second. I'm going to bring my camera down just a little bit closer so that we can be as zoomed in as we can. Can I come down even further? I think that should be good. Make sure I'm straight. No, I'm not straight. There we go. And let's stamp out and color some Highland cows. So I'm going to focus on these 2 guys. Let me find my paper. So I have some of our Prism Studio solar white paper here. It's not a bright white, it's a nice softer white that makes it easier to color on. All right, and I've got stuff everywhere, so bear with me as I find all the bits. I've got a block here that I'm going to stamp these guys out on, and my ink. I just need to find my pouch is over here. Patricia says she's liking the Highland coos. Deborah is saying Highland cows. Excellent. Well, hopefully you're going to get some tips on how to color with me today. I'm going to grab my Memento ink. Again, that is my favorite kind of ink. I am going to be using Copic markers today. If you have Olos or other brands of alcohol marker, the same techniques will work. If you're just coloring with pencil crayons, some of these tips will work as well. And if you wanted to watercolor, you'd want to make sure that your base layer is dry. But again, some of these ideas might work for you as well, just to create that hairy look on his little, I'm going to call them bangs. I know that's not the proper term, but on these little pieces up here. So I'm going to start by taking I'm going to take one stamp at a time. I do have a wet stamp chamois to clean off in between. And like I said, I am using Memento ink. That is my favorite ink for stamping when I'm going to be coloring. You want to make sure that you're using an alcohol ink friendly ink so that your markers don't run. Gina K has her own. Lawn Fawn does have their own. I do find it is very much a personal preference as to what people like. So if you try one, and if they have the cubes available, I might suggest starting with the little cube inks first so that you can try it out and not feel like you're wasting a whole great big pad. But you may have to try one or two inks before you find the one that you like. So I'm being super lazy. I didn't even get out my stamping platform. I'm just going to use a block. And I'm going to stamp them a couple times because I figure if I've got my stamps out, I might as well get a bunch. One of the things I like to do a lot is stamp out a whole bunch of images and then sit in front of the TV with my markers and color that way. That way, if I make a mistake on something, I don't have to go back and find the stamps again. And if I don't make a mistake, then I have a whole collection of images that are colored and ready for cards. So I've just inked them up on my ink. When I stamp, I don't just pop and go. I make sure I sit and hold it so that the ink absorbs into the paper before I lift away and see that perfect stamp. I'm gonna close that up so that it doesn't dry out on me. Clean up my stamp before I move on, haha, and let us get started. So you guys can see that okay. I will do my best to kind of come up to the camera as I can. This is as low as I can get it, and I don't think, no, I'm not able to zoom in further with my camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some nice base layer shading on these cows so that they look somewhat like this, and then we'll go into their hairy bits and we're going to add some extra layers. So in this case, I personally find that these guys are maybe a little bit dark for what I want to do, so I'm going to start with lighter colors. It is always easier to go back in and add color if you need it. It is much harder to take it away. So I'm gonna, what colors did I bring here? I seem to have brought more colors than I probably will need. I'm gonna stick in this range here. And I'll tell you what this range means once I've got all my markers pulled. There we go. So with Copics, I'm going to talk to you about the coloring system, and I'm going to be really quick about it because this is really not meant to be a full-on Copic lesson. If you're using another brand of markers, they will have their own kind of numbering system. But when you look at my Copics here, what you will notice is that they are all E's, which stands for earth tones. Let me see if I can get some better lighting there. And the first number in each one of these is a 1. That means it's got a very saturated color, and we're going to get some nice intensity. And then I've got 11, 13, 15, 18, and 19. And as you can see just from the caps, they build from light through to dark. So to start with, as I said, I'm going to start with my lighter ones. I like to kind of give my guys a nice base coat before I go in and start shading and start coloring. So I'm going in with my lightest, the E11. I am going to color his whole face. I'm leaving the hair for right now. Let's focus on everything else. So I'm coloring his face. I'm going to color his body. Maybe not the hooves. I think that might be one thing I forgot to bring was a black or a dark gray. So maybe he'll have brown hooves. We'll see. Just giving him a nice base coat, an area for me to work on. Let's get his ears. And we'll leave his horns because horns I might do. Yeah, the horns are a different color altogether, so we don't want to build that up. So I've just given him a base coat, not worried about shading or anything at this point. Let's do this other guy. And this is a very quick job. It's just giving you a surface to work on, so you don't need to spend a lot of time. Just try to make sure that you stay inside the lines. And if you do see brush strokes as you're coloring, don't worry. One thing that markers do is that they soak into the fibers of the paper. And so as they dry, it is going to change a little bit. And if you walk away, and sometimes I find if I'm getting frustrated with my coloring, I do a layer and then I walk away, go get a glass of water, go get a snack, just move around for a second. And when you come back, everything will have evened out. So that is his base coat. Now I'm going to go, so that was light, then I'm going to go dark, medium, light, and bring in my shadows. Now I'm not a big one to worry about, okay, well, if he's standing here, where is the sun coming from? Where is the light hitting him? As long as you are consistent with what you are coloring, nobody's going to say, you know what, I don't think you colored that guy right. The sun is actually over here and you've got it over here. So don't stress too much about that. I like to go darkest on the inside, lightest on the darkest on the outside, lightest on the inside. So I'm just going to do like a layer down this way. There's going to be a shadow here underneath his little udder. There's going to be a shadow here, and then down this way. There will be shadows underneath his head and a little bit over here. On his ears, I'm just going to do shadow below. And let's leave his face for right now. So you can see I'm just doing some really basic lines. And I can go in over here and do my second cow. Let's do some shadow underneath his head. And again, around where there's going to be shadow. And I will tell you 100% coloring gets better and easier with practice. So don't try coloring just once and say, oh, I'm no good at this. Oh, look, I forgot his ear over here. Practice, practice, practice. And that's another reason why stamping out multiple images of the same thing will help you get better at coloring. I'm also noticing that I did not color this little back foot here on both of them. Since it's going to be completely in shadow, I'm just going to fill that whole section in with my darker color. All right, that was dark. Now I'm going to go medium. And I'm just going to almost go over top of what I've just done and soften out those edges. And then I can add some extra shadows. So the idea is I'm going to pull that color into the open space. Filling out, get that ear. And pull that color out so that we're evening out our layers. Okay. So just nice and simple. He's really starting to come together. I'm still seeing some edges here, so I'm going to go back now in with my light and just soften that out. And again, this is not meant to be a full-on Copic lesson, but I think we need to have the rest of him done to make the hair look good. All right. And again, it's going to even out a little bit as it dries. Didn't do his face yet. I'm not going to worry about the darkest with the face, but I'm going to go just around the edges here, maybe up around his snout in that lighter color. And there will be a shadow underneath his hair. Just to make that pop a little bit more. Okay. You're saying, but Sheri, I want to see the hair. I want to see the hair. Okay, we're going to do hair next. So once again with the hair, I'm going to take my lightest color and I'm just going to give it a base coat. Color that in. color that in. I am going to use my medium color for my shadows. So we'll do some shadow over here in the little creases, some shadow over here in the little creases, just to give him our base dimension. And even on its own, those are, sorry, I'm trying to get it so that it's in the light, maybe over here. There we go. But now we're going to have our flickin' fun. And I'm actually going to take him and turn him upside down because I like to flick away from me. And so if I want that to be the direction I'm going in, it's easier if he's upside down versus me trying to do it upside down. So I'm going to take that darker one. I'm going to go even darker. This is where I might want to just test because the numbers aren't always 100%. Yeah, I thought so. So this 18 is actually the darkest of the colors that I brought. So I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go right to this dark one. And I'm simply going to start on this top edge. So I'm going to start on this top edge and I'm going to flick away from me, trying to only use, oh, that didn't focus very well. Try to only use the very tip of my pen. Like so. And by starting at what would be the crown, it's giving me that shadow and then flicking away into where the strands of hair would be. And you know, I think I maybe even overdid that one a little bit, but look how those fine little strokes give it that hairy look. And I do not want these to be blended in. I want that definition to be there. So I'm flicking in the direction of the hair, like so. That second one actually turned out a little bit better. And you can layer in different colors. So I also brought this color here, which is YR, which means yellow red. But I think it'll give us some interesting dimension. Don't know if you can see that very well. I did it on this guy here. Maybe I will go into that medium. That's the 15. Let's try a different color scheme on this guy. There we go. So it's just flick. Where's my, here. We're going to go flick. And by always doing it in the same direction, that's how you're getting that hairy look. And again, I went back in with that darker one. And you can cross hatch it, you can get it going in different directions. But look at how that really turns it into a hairy look. So that's how I would approach doing the hair, doing the bangs. You could go back in from the bottom if you feel like you don't like that just being solid. But don't blend your lines. Keep them looking individual so that they really start to look like hair. And then you can just finish it off with a lighter color on those horns. Like so. This one is 31. Did I bring a darker 30? I did. So again, just get his horn shaded. Oh, this guy too. This guy too. And I'm going to grab, I've got a dark gray that I can use for his little hooves. So there is my homework for you. practice your flicking, whether it's with the stamped image, like I have done here, or simply get out a piece of paper. And again, you can do it in any color you want. Most of the colors I brought here were brighter color or lighter colors. But just practice your flicking. And like I said, I like to flick away from me. Some people may prefer to flick towards them. But that flicking motion gives you your hair. It could also give you blades of grass. So that could be a little tuft of grass there. Sorry, my camera doesn't, there we go. So that flicking technique is really all I wanted to share with you today to create more of that hairy cow look. You can limit it to his bangs. You can bring it into his body if you wish. I'm going to play around with this a little bit more. Maybe not today, but hopefully this weekend. And if I've got some more samples to share with you, I will definitely post them onto social. So there you have it, folks. Almost an hour, but I hope you enjoyed that unboxing of the Lawn Fawn release. There are still lots of goodies available here in the store. And if you want to come by and see us, we absolutely would love to see you, share with you these samples. And excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you are far away, then order online and we'll be happy to ship it out to you. Wish you a wonderful weekend, happy crafting, and we'll talk to you soon.